Alright, so in this one we are going to be doing my Dragon Ball Legends top 10 technical different here tier list of March. I do assume we'll get another one of these. If we do get a banner next week, we could, though I do predict most likely it'll be in 2 weeks, technically, the banner. But again, there is a sequence that we could get a banner next week, though I do expect some free-to-play unit next week and the Zenkai yet again, maybe even Yellow Glorio, but we shall see. This is going to be a top 15. The reason I want to do a top 15 here is because I think for everyone that's number 10 through 15, there is a discussion. Now, I will say discussion because I do not agree if you put this above this. This is why my tier list is what it is. This is what I think these units are. But I do think there's a discussion to be had that a lot of units can be filled in that number 10 slot. And instead of just grouping them in number 10 and being like, yeah, this is the order of them, why not even rank them further beyond that and put them in a, segment of their own, essentially, and kind of, talk about it from there. So this will be a longer video than a normal top 10 list because I actually do have to explain more since there's more units, right? So we'll just get into it with it being not a good time. Not a good time for anybody. This is obviously a shared tier. What shared tiers mean, if you don't know, for most people and for me here, is if you have these units in a shared tier, that means you can say this unit's better or this unit's better, and I would agree. Doesn't matter which one, I would agree to that. Everything else, if they're not shared tiers, I think they stay there. They're stagnant there until I change my opinion on them for more usage or more watching or more whatever. The opinion stays what it is. So number 14 through 15 here is going to be a shared tier of Vegito Blue and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Now again, you could have it either way. Personally, I am very much more... I can't have it this way. I've been trying to say Vegito is worse. I've been trying. But Vegito has such a better team, and he's core on it. I unfortunately have to do this to myself here. With Vegito Blue being number 14 and Vegeta being 15 again, they're in the shared tier, so they could swap. If you want to swap them, feel free. No, this tier list is not just to make sure Vegeta fits the list. It is honestly that I do think we'll go through it. 10 through 15 can all argue top 10. And we'll get to that once we finish number 10. But this is very obvious here. Vegeta is not a good enough release for the current meta to make an impact of it, right? Vegeta, he's a green damage dealer. Well, guess what? We have Super Saiyan 3 Goku. We have Vegeta. We have Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, who can arguably be here as well. If you want to put him here, I wouldn't even, be shocked by that. I think he's a little lower, but you can put him here. God Goku, Super Saiyan 3, Vegeta, the Green Diamond Goku Zenkai now. We have damage dealers. Vegeta's that with a little bit more utility than like Daima Goku, and that's cool, the Green Daima Goku, but realistically, until Daima becomes something crazy, and even then, Vegeta's just in the back burner. He's the 3rd best green at peak, and even here, I would have him as the 4th best green. It's just not a good look when they release a unit that is so subpar to the top tiers. Now, I do understand God Goku has some toxic traits like AoE Green, and Super Saiyan 3 is a toxic character in a finite, notion. But there has to be a workaround for Legends to, one, not make Vegeta green, because that's the biggest issue with him, his coloring. And 2, if they are going to make him green, you gotta give me something that makes me want to value him more than Super Saiyan 3 Goku and God Goku. The only thing I can cope, and this is cope at this point, because it doesn't matter in the grand scheme, the burst damage of Vegeta can probably be the best of any green unit in the game. But that doesn't mean much because of multiple reasons. For one, well, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is just minusing health restores, so him bursting doesn't matter. They can't heal. The team can't heal because Super Saiyan 3 Goku is hitting them so much, as well as double card draw speed. God Goku has double card draw speed, so I don't care about the burst. I'm just hitting everybody and destroying them. Vegito gets infinite cards, essentially. When he re-enters, gets his gauge, gets going, and things go along with that, especially with having better teams than the Daima team. And Vegeta's team, his best team, would be like Ku, Vegeta, and Gohan Trunks. Now, even then, yeah, you can double peer him, but you're not getting his best optimal equip settings of the Red Diamond Goku equip, essentially. So you're just making him worse off than he is, and even that team, you're putting Ku instead of putting anyone else that could be there. You're putting Ku because Vegeta needs that support. Vegeta is amplified by it, clearly, but he needs it more than most units in the game kind of ever would need support. And it's weird, because he has Cup Pen, and he needs support. That sounds crazy. It's the low stats, man. They didn't do his stats justice. He doesn't have good enough equips to really optimize himself to a full degree. Vegeta is just subpar to what the game needed him to be. I will state this very obviously. If Vegeta were physically any other color in the game, maybe even red. Not confident in that fully, but I'll state it, sure, why not? Any other color but green, there's much more value to him. There is. Obviously, I prefer yellow or blue or purple because we need those, but if he was any other color, he would probably be in like the 9, 8, 7, maybe even higher than that, because he's not a bad individual unit. It's just if you don't need this character, why am I going to rate him so highly? I don't need Vegito Blue either. That's why Vegito's down here. It's clearly better to run God Goku and Super Saiyan Goku. They're going to be high up. So why would I run these inferiors? They're going to be together because they're just inferior together. Which one's better than the other? It's up to you. Again, I think Vegito technically does edge it out because his teams, where you would optimize him on Future, Blast Future with Cell, go on Trunks and himself, I think that's just a better team than if you were to put Majin Ku, Super Saiyan Vegeta, and go on Trunks. Majin Ku is not, shifting the game where I'm having Ku instead of Cell. My team becomes worse. I like Majin Ku, but my team becomes worse if he's on the team instead of Cell, clearly. So, a long one on 14-15 because it is a new unit, but yeah. Disappointing that he's down here. I don't want him to be down here. I actually like Daima. I actually like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta pretty much the most I could like any form of Vegeta at this point. So I wish he was higher, but how the game works is the necessity, and there's no necessity of Vegeta. He just coexists. He's a fine green. He's not a bad unit, but units are so much better that are the same color doing the same role. What do I need him? I don't. He is less neutral than VB, less neutral than God Goku, more than Super Saiyan 3, but less defensive, equal defense utility. Less offense utility. No, he actually has less defense utility than Super Saiyan 3 Goku because he cancels buff effects. And less offense utility than Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So it's like, there's just no purpose to use this character if you have these other characters, and guess what? The tier list obviously culminates within the idea that we have all these units, if not 14 stars, decent enough to run. So that'll be there. Number 13, though, is actually going to be Mr. Tamagami. Oh, okay. Whoops. Tamagami, number 3. This character, I do think, is rising. I hope he actually doesn't get replaced soon, because I think that is a possibility. I hope it doesn't happen, but if anyone's on a chopping block, Super Saiyan Vegeta, you could say isn't even core on the team. I don't know if that's true. I mean, there's a discussion for it. Tamagami, though, people are starting to grow a liking to him, and let's say we get a blue Goma. People are predicting Goma because we have Super Saiyan Vegeta. Guess what? Super Saiyan Vegeta fought Goma. Exactly. Transforming Goma, Revival, whatever. Succession, I don't know. Whatever it is. Make him blue. Tamagami with him. Obviously, just run whatever third at that point. It would be impeccable for the value of Tamagami, but if that doesn't happen, he's a different color, Tamagami might just get dropped. Let's say Goma is a LF that's purple instead. That's a good release. That's a healthy thing for the game. But then Tamagami is going to, the dead end. He's not most likely going to be run. Even if he is defense neutral, you just don't feel too comfortable running a double color unless you are the color of red or green. And even that red isn't even that great right now. It's just, there's so many red units that are at least good. But Tamagami, still valuable, still doing his role pretty well. I do think, obviously, he gets accentuated by the Daima buffs, Daima equips, whatever going to happen next. For sure, I just hope that he doesn't start to get replaced, because there's a very easy discussion to say, in 2 weeks from now, or a week from now, Tamagami's not core anymore, and that would suck, and he would have to drop because of that. But for now, I do like him here. I do like him over Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Yes, that is where I stand on that, because I do think what he does for a team-wide setting, whether it be a weapon wielder or a Daima team, because he can't fit on both, he is filling his role superbly. And when the yellows were running amok of MV and Beast, Tamagami was doing a good enough job. He was working well enough, and I think he still does his role well, if not does it better, because the yellows are going down, because you're not running into the yellows as often, because the Roach Man is in the game. But number 12 will be actually Super Trunks. Yes, I've started to respect this unit. When I did use him prior to Super Saiyan 3 Daima Vegeta's release, I did say he could peak at 9 for me. That was true. I don't go back on that, but I do think these units that are being more necessity for the game have just released, whether it be Majin Ku is better for the Daima team or just a general team setting of just supporting and doing his role well. The blue units getting their value. I kind of underrated some of these blue units last time, so not going to do that again. And I do think Super Trunks does fit a good setting, and wholeheartedly, you don't see Gotenks here. Gotenks was a miss on me. I'll give you that. Yes. Super Trunks just replaces him wholeheartedly. There's no discussion for that. So, yeah, that's why he's here. I mean, just does his job well, right? And though you could probably see him higher, I understand it. Also understand yellows aren't running that often. So do I need Super Trunks as often as I much more needed to maybe when he initially dropped? No, I need him less, right? I understand why he'd be higher in a earlier setting of his release, but now I need him less, right? I mean, he's meant to wall off the yellows, I assume, and he can be good against blues, but these blues aren't some offense demons, so don't think you need him as much as people would state, but I do think he is good enough to be in this tier here. Number 11, though, is actually going to be Mr. LFIT Goku. I see a lot of people saying IT Goku is actually worse than Trunks, and I think people are a little bit quick to judge this unit. Like, I understand his setting. Very simplistic. You want to lock in when the gauge is filled, you want to AoE green spam, you want to burst blast against yellows or just anybody in the world. But I think the underrating of his damage does come into play. I think this unit's damage actually is pretty on par with what you need to see. I have this unit 4 stars, and I'm glazing him right now on damage. I've seen this unit pop off. I've seen this unit destroy matches, even at lower stars. He can do his job. He does his job very well. If anything that exists in this game right now, IT Goku is most likely the most underrated unit in the entire game. Honestly. Like, I think this is downplay of him, but I also think it's decently accurate to where he is standing in the current meta era. Like, yes, he can do his job well. Will it happen every single match? No. But can it happen? It's kind of like a Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. Can Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta get some lucky cards and pop off a match? Yes. Will it happen every match? No. IT Goku is more consistent in that because he is making the cards he needs, the green cards and all that stuff. But will it always happen? No. But he has good potential to make it happen on his own merits, much more consistent than Vegeta, because he makes the green, he enters with a blast, he has the cover null setting for himself, he can get more cover null a lot easier because he makes the green, and I think the teams he could fit on actually are pretty tedious. Try Super Trunks, IT Goku, and Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I get it, Cell can destroy it, Goku wants to die anyway, so it's fine, but try that trio, you're gonna have a good time. That trio is annoying as hell, and I'm glad I don't run into it often, but when I do, so much disdain. Oh, it's hell. We will continue to number 10 here after I take a quick swig of coffee. Man, beautiful. Number 10, though, actually is going to be Majin Ku. I did say I do think Majin Ku is top 10. I did say I think Majin Ku is better than Super Saiyan Vegeta, and I still hold that opinion. I think Majin Ku is a phenomenal release of his own goodness. Obviously, I don't think he's very kind to players. The paralyzed, the feints, he's gonna be a bit of a, annoyance to face, for sure. But Shin is an annoyance to face, right? And that character had a very good longevity. He still has longevity, but he had very good longevity for a hot minute there. It's going to be the same vibe for Majin Ku here, giving 50% support to Daima, and I believe it's 20% just generalized. That's going to be valuable in its own merit. His Disrupt, I actually like his Disrupt more than Super Trunks because, yes, Super Trunks' Disrupt is better individually, the 2 Disrupts, which is a point to Super Trunks. Majin Ku essentially does that repeatedly. A little bit worse, obviously, but repeatedly. And every single card, he's upping the enemy arts cost, as well as minusing their card draw speed. He's doing both while destroying 2 cards on his cover change. Like, it just is everything. It's everything you need to have immunity to. You're going to have immunity to one and not the other. So his Disrupt actually is a better value than anything else, even in his kits. The Vanish Packs 5 times on green cards is very good, obviously. What else even is there? The damage he can get, he actually can get pretty constant damage because make them paralyzed, make them poison, make them bleed, make them whatever else inflicted could happen from Majin Ku here. And he can stack very fast, though it is only for 3 counts. Spam those cards out. You got cover null anyways. Majin Ku can do a decent number of damage if you let him. And I already said in the beginning of the video, if Yellow Glorio does Zenkai, which I think Blue Diamond Goku and Yellow Glorio will Zenkai, by the time this anniversary ends, not this campaign, but anniversary ends, this guy is thriving. He has no Zenkai buff now, obviously, but he would be thriving beyond belief if he did have one. But for now, does a good job. Again, Daima is in the works of getting better. I could very obviously understand if these 3 Daima characters so far were to go higher on tier list. Maybe 2 of them more than the others. And I'm talking about Tamagami, not. But for now, Daima team is a work in progress. I hope they actually do it honestly, because we got Dragon Ball team, and while the equipment was good, it honestly made the team decent enough. Decent enough's not good enough. We got to do better than that. We tried it with Dragon Ball. We failed, essentially. We nerfed Path of Power. I mean, come on now. We got to try a little better, Legends. So hopefully this time around, they cook with it. I have confidence they will. Not doubting them. I've had confidence within this 2025 year so far with Legends, because they've done a good job so far. I'm just hoping for another time they do a good job. This week, I would have expected one more equipment. You know, a platinum equipment, maybe just for Daima characters in general. Not like some pure, just a lot of health and double defense and whatever. Like, just give me something, right? We didn't get that. Wish we did. Hopefully we get that stuff soon. But we actually do get into number 9 here. And as I said, I will mention that 10 through 15, in my opinion, there is a understandable debate if you were to have number 10 as number 15, if you were to have number 14 as number 11, etc. So if you want to replace any of these within their tiers, I would not be opposed to that. I would just have it where this is my concrete 10 through 15 slots. I do understand, though, every unit here has potential argument to be a top 10 unit. That's why this is here, to not alienate. I think there's too many options for top 10 to alienate them. It would just be stupid to not include them. So that's why they're here and being included. Now, number 9 is going to be Mr. MVP 17. I think this character does a good role. The issue I do find with him is that his team's kind of dookie. You know, leader slot does exist, and it can only do so much for you. And while his character is not reliant on equipments for specific teams, though he does get his best equipments on androids, because he gets pure defenses over there, he gets some pure offenses, he can do whatever he wants over there. But I don't think this character is potent enough in a defense setting or a damage setting to give me such a high regard of him. I think he does his job well, I think he does his role well, but that's it. He does it well, he's not needed, and he does it fine. That's not a problem. That's a fine thing. This character can coexist and be relevant in a match. So if he does that, that's great. But I do think this number 8 blue is better. And I did underrate Turles. Like I said, I put Gotenks higher, which was stupid of me. Turles would be number 8. Movies, Beast Gohan, Super Saiyan God Goku, as well as Turles is still a very good trio. Clearly you do have some anti-cell there within Turles, as well as, actually, it's pretty nice if you do run it, Beast, cancel buff effect. So let's say Cell would be neutral in his setting, right? And you're in with Turles prior. Well, Cell does the main ability, he tries to ult you, he tries to take out your Turles first life. Your Beast canceling that buff effect of that ultimate. Guess what? Turles is going to live. Turles gets to see another day. And uses a comeback mechanic and still stop Cell because, well, now I still have rush safety because I didn't get my situation popped. Movies is a better roster than anything MVP can offer. So what happens there is Turles, because of the roster and the individuality of the unit, because there's some distractable destruction there, key reduction there, annoyances that Turles can create, it's just a better value character for the current era. What we need right now is units that can disrupt Cell. That is the name of the game. Just stop Cell from rushing you and killing a character for free. That is what you're supposed to do in PvP right now. That's the bread and butter of it. So if you have that, guess what? Your value is going to be higher. And realistically, if you were to say, I'm actually going to call an audible on this. I'm going to put Turles 7. And who I was going to put number 7 there is going to be number 8. Daima Goku is going to be number 8. I do think Turles has more value than Daima Goku. But Daima Goku, I guess we'll touch on him here since we're here. He's obviously gotten better, right? We do have the new buffs of Daima, so he gets better from that. The supports from Majin Ku is nothing to laugh at. And while he is better, I cannot put him above Turles. This is very much an audible. I'm actually thinking about putting him below MVP as well. I'm not going to put him below MVP, but I'm actually going to do this. Yeah, this is a lot of audibles here. I mean, this is a top 15 list. It's going to take some tweaking to get perfected in my opinion, and obviously no tier list is perfect anyways. We'll do this. I think this is more accurate. Or you could debate them 8 or 9, because I definitely think Diamond Goku is valuable right now, but I think it's more coherent to say MVP is number 8 and Diamond Goku is number 9. Yeah. The value of these blues is just much more necessity in the game than a red doing good damage. That's just kind of what coexists. And Diamond Goku, he's very squishy. It doesn't help his argument, so while MVP is squishy, at least he's a better color technically to deal with the biggest dilemma of PvP. While the greens are existing, you do have to deal with the biggest problem, and well, that is obviously the red roach, which we will clearly touch on when we get there. But that's why I have good audible. I think this is a much more accurate description. I wouldn't like Diamond Goku in between Turles and MVP. I don't think that's very accurate there. I think being below them and or tied with one of them would be much more true to the game. Number 6, though, will be as follows, with it being Merge Zamasu. Now, I did just speak about how reds are not as necessity, especially just damaging reds, but MZ has a little bit more to offer. The defense gauge having some Dragon Ball Instruction there, the couple of vanish backs on the offense gauge of his green card there, as well as, yes, the gauge itself, Ceiling Rising Rush. That is Giga value for MZ. Why? Because Cell, he likes the rush. Now, you have Go on Trunks on MZ's team anyways, but in case you don't, or in case you don't have a setting for it, MZ having that rush seal, very good value. Does he not also seal main abilities on that gauge, if I'm not mistaken? So, more value to that? If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I'm not. But, MZ, good value. MZ could run with Cell as well, double reds, double Zenkai buff. I mean, what would you lose there? Quite literally nothing. Put Gohan Trunks as a third. You know, run EX14 if you wanted, you know, for, I guess that is an Android anyways, right? As the bench there to give some 50% to blue and purple. And then you just, you know, make that somehow work from where it is. Could be nice. Could just be a good team. And matter of fact, it is a good team. MZ, good value. I do think he is the current best LF red unit. And I think, you know, moving forward, people will start to respect him as time goes on. I think people have already started to. I just hope that that respect keeps up, because this guy hits like a nuclear missile, quite honestly, for no reason. You let this guy take hits and then he combos back, that's going to hurt. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you are Turles. I don't care if you're MVP, though Turles will tank it, obviously, much more better than MVP. I don't care who you are, though. MZ does a great job on his output, and guess what? I want my unit to do output. So he does that role. He has some defense utility that helps my team and keeps me safe from Cell. How could I not like him? And he helps Zenkai buff with Cell because, well, you can run with Cell being the same color. No dilemma there. I think MZ is a very solid release. Then number 4/5. I actually do need to take a little bit more coffee, but this does not change from what I had it as previous. Let me explain in a second here. 4/5 though does not change. I do think God Goku is better than Beast Gohan right now, but I think there is still a debate. Again, I did mention movies being a very good team right now, and that's not to say that, you know, that you need Beast on it particularly, but usually you're still going to put Beast on the team just because Beast Gohan is as good as Beast Gohan is, can obviously deal with Cell to a good extent with Special Beam Cannon. You can kind of make a workaround kind of situation, arguably, with, let's say, unit. Let's say you run Cell with MZ, right? Beast Gohan does his ultimate, Cell can't cancel the buff effects. Guess what? That's neutral. It's going to be a good time for you, right? Obviously. Things can go your way with that. And Beast still does have his disrupts and his good properties there. But God Goku, we kind of get into that territory of simplicity for some of these units, and that's why they are such high tiers. While God Goku is worse off because the Endurance Null, forever from Cell, that doesn't devalue the unit to me in really any respect. If that were to devalue God Goku, then Super Trunks would be worse than he was prior, or MVP would be worse than he was prior, and these units are actually better than they were placed prior. I think Endurance Null, while it is an asset that does make Cell very powerful, it doesn't make the devalue of these other units, because the whole baseline kit of God Goku is still doing its job. Obviously, the safety mechanic of him is not there, but no units are safe. Very few, literally 3 on this list, are safe in PvP. And that's it. So God Goku having his Endurance nulled, okay, well, the entire goddamn roster has their entire life nulled. Like what are we gonna do? Like, we can't just say God Goku's worse because Endurance null. just wouldn't make much sense. Though, God Goku does a very good job. His immunities, his double cardio speed, the AoE green he physically creates, which is a tedious asset of him. He's just a very good release right now, even when we do get purples running the game, which surely is inevitable to happen, won't really impact God Goku to that high of a degree. God Goku was the best answer consistently to Tamagami, because you get that gauge, pop that gauge, we're neutral forever, right? We're however many counts, 10 counts I think it is, and we just spam strikes and blast, strikes and blast, strikes and blast, get those defense procs of Tamagami, and then rinse and repeat. And it was a very good setting. If you run Super Saiyan Vegeta, it's like 2 or 3 cards. Your offense neutrally run Vegito, well yes, that can happen, but it's later game. God Goku is frame 0. Super Saiyan 3 Goku is even worse at offense neutral, because everything he could offense neutral, which is the blue card, Tamagami would cancel because he canceled buff effect on blue cards and ultimate and rush. So this is the perfect answer if purples were to rise up. But in the current, since there is no purples, he's still a very good answer because he does his role very well in his simplicity, in his damage, even, some defense utility, nothing crazy, but destroying 2 cards is not a bad thing, obviously. So that's why he does retain his value. Beast, yet again, movies, 4, 5, 7. Those are pretty good numbers for characters that are on one of the better teams in the game, especially one of the better anti-cell teams in the game, or anti-cell teams in the game. So that is the movie roster being rated pretty respectably, in my opinion. And these units, Turles, pretty goddamn old at this point. Starting to approach, 6, 7 months at that rate? Beast, more new than not, so I'll give him some slack. But God Goku, well, he did plat more recently than not. Still, this character is not a new character, right? So his value being this high is obviously very nice to see. Number 2/3, though, actually would be a little bit of a difference here. I actually can't decide with this one. I am indeterminate with this of Gohan, Trunks, and Super Saiyan 2, 3 Goku. Simplicity-wise, it's going to go Super Saiyan 3 Goku, clearly. But I think Gohan, Trunks can argue it. I think the diversity of them would actually make me change this to put it like this. Initially, I do have it on the side here. I have my initial list on the side here, just looking at it, make sure I have it accurate. And you saw it's in Audible earlier, and I think I could do one here as well. I think that the team diversity they can offer with being a strike build or blast build, as well as just flowing. Okay, you run Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Majin Ku, Gohan Trunks, you run Super Trunks, Gohan Trunks, Beast Gohan, you run anything. Literally, you can run Turles, Gohan, Trunks together, and then whatever the fuck else third. You can run anything, and this unit will do its role, and do its role properly. So, I gotta put them where they deserve to be. Though, I just wish Trunks was on the kid tag. I know he's 13 in this special, but, if he was on the kid tag, double pure offense he could get. He could get right there. He could get that clip right there from Gotenks. If the Gotenks plat and base health. He's not on it. But if he was, I would have him undisputably, rather, number 2, and then Goku number 3, because that equipment would just amplify, because he would supply himself, he's supplementing it. And that's why I like Gotenks a lot. That equipment right there is so free. This unit doesn't have that. It hurts. Not many kid units he can run around with right now, so it is hurting. It's just a wish, right? But Gohan, Trunks had their team diversity, as well as Super Saiyan Goku does have his own methodology of being good with spam, 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 spam. And this is where I kind of fall within the endurance null debate, because no one was rating God Goku worse because Super Saiyan 3 Goku has endurance null for a long time. It's not forever, but it's a long time, right? But God Goku is still rated very highly. So why is it when Cell has it, God Goku is now 10 times worse that people are saying? Obviously not everyone, but I have seen God Goku not even be top 10, and I'm just like, Super Saiyan Goku had the same effect. Essentially, it felt like he did. Felt like it was forever the endurance null, because the combos would never end. Why wouldn't God Goku be lower then, but now he's lower because of Cell? It just wouldn't make much sense. So, Super Saiyan 3 stays where he is. He obviously is doing his role very well, because nothing stops him. There is no counterplay to Super Saiyan Goku. The best counterplay would be an auto gauge, and you're not seeing MV here. You're not seeing G4 here. I guess Ultra Gohan could argue it, but I don't think he does, because his damage is lackluster to me, and his utility is just not enough to get him in a cemented spot. But that's the only way to stop it, and, well, they're not here, so he's top 3. Then, number 1 clearly is Ultra Cell. This is not a dispute, though I have seen a lot of takes saying Gohan Trunks can argue number 1, and I am in between on that. I'm not saying it's like something stupid, because I don't think that's stupid. I do think there is a debate that could be settled, kind of like this 10 through 15 placement spot can be debated. I'm sure you will be doing that. But I'm more confident in Cell. Cell is maybe not as the safety option, clearly, though he has safety options because he has endurance, but Cell is making the game pander to what he does. I think that presence and, well, power that he holds over these other team builds is why he is number one. Gohan Trunks clearly have some presence and have some power, but that's because they're being run as your, like, get out of jail free card. And that's not a bad thing. That's why they're top tier. That's why they're number 2 right here. But I do think Cell's presence of literally shifting of what we need, like Turles would not be here if Cell did not have full endurance and all, right? Turles would be lower because you would not need Turles as much. Turles would still be top 10, but he would not be needed as much. And that kind of situation where the presence of Cell is impacting the entire list, that is why Cell will be number 1 to me. Clearly, you know what he does. I don't have to describe anything. I mean, you know the endurance, null, cancel buff effects, the nuclear ultimate that he does, everything in the books, he does, and he does to a good degree. The only issue with Cell, which I do think is a good issue, because unit scissors have issues, they shouldn't be perfect. Cover null. Only 10 counts cover null, no way to re-get it. You leave, you come back, that's how you get cover null. There's no other way. Green card doesn't give it, and I think that's a positive. Again, there needs to be balancing factors. Gohan Trunks, they're not some outlandish godly damage dealer, but they're not some bad damage. They're not some outlandish godly tank. They're not some outlandish godly utility, but they do these roles decent. So there is a fault to them, right? Super Saiyan 3, pretty ass disrupt, not even the craziest defenses. Not gonna tank too well. And you go down the list and see there is faults within these units, and that's why they're, within shared tiers, within this debate sequence of, what could be above what, and why even have to shift some of them, because it is understandable we're going off of what is the top tier, and Cell, while he does have a flaw, is still ruling on the, debate of what you're going to use on your team. You're not going to use the same units you were using prior to Cell with Cell out. You are going to shift it up because you understand Cell is such an oppressive force. And he deserves it. We need Ultra Cell for a hot minute. I'm glad we have it. Kind of wish his ink art was better, but I'm a fan of him shooting chunks in the chest. I love that. It's awesome. But this is my top 15 tier list of March 2025. Again, could see another one, but I doubt it. Probably going to happen in April. With it being Ultra Cell, number 1, Super Saiyan Gohan and Trunks, Tag Succession, number 2, as well as Super Saiyan 2 3 Goku, arguable number 2/3, though again, my order would be Gohan Trunks at number 2, Super Saiyan 3 at number 3. Same thing with God Goku and Beast, with it being LF God Goku number 4, Beast Gohan Ultra being at number 5, MZ LF being number 6, Ultra Turles being number 7, number 8/9 being MVP LF17, as well as LF Red Diamond Goku, number 10 being Majin Ku, number 11 being IT Goku LF, 12 being Super Trunks, 13 being Tamagami number 3, and 14/15 arguable, debatable tier being LF Vegeta Blue and LF Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Let me guys think of my top 15 tier list here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.